Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. My name is Suraya Binti Mazni and my partner is Aisyah Insyirah Binti Amir. In this video, we'll be presenting Sonnet 149 by William Shakespeare. So first, I'm going to recite the poem, and after that, Aisyah will recite the translation of the poem. Canst thou, O cruel, say I love thee not, when I against myself with thee partake? Do I not think on thee when I forgot? Am of myself all tyrant for thy sake, who hateth thee that I do call my friend? On whom frownest thou that I do fawn upon? Nay, if thou laurest on me, do I not spend revenge upon myself with present moan? What merit do I in my self-respect, that is so proud thy service to despise, when all my best doth worship thy defect, commanded by the motion of thine eyes? But, love, hate on, for now I know thy mind, those that can see thou lovest, and I am blind.
Alright, so now I'll read the translation for Sonnet 149. It goes, "Oh, you cruel woman, can you say I don't love you when I take sides with you against myself? Don't I think about you even when I've forgotten about myself, and all for your sake, you tyrant, who hates you that I would call my friend? Who do you frown at that I grovel on and flatter? No, if you scowl at me, don't I immediately punish myself by mooning? Which quality do I see in myself that will make me too proud to be your servant? All of the best in me worships the worst in you, and you can command me with a glance. But, my love, go on hating me, because now I know your mind. You love the people who can see, and I am blind."
Now, we will look at the themes of this poem. As you can see throughout the poem, there are 4 question marks which indicate there are 4 questions that are being asked. Those are actually rhetorical questions by the poet for the Dark Lady. Each of the rhetorical questions has its own answer, and the purpose of the answer is actually to defend or to justify the poet's actions. And then, by the end of this poem, it is actually to establish the Dark Lady's reason as to why she constantly being cruel towards the poet, and the reason why she doesn't accept his love. So, the main theme of this poem is actually the infatuation and the reason. The poet's infatuation towards the Dark Lady, the poet's reason for his actions, and the Dark Lady's reason for not accepting his love.
Alright, so now I will cover the first and second quatrain for Sonnet 149. Now before we go into those quatrains, first of all, the first line of the sonnet says, "Canst thou, O cruel, say I love thee not?" Now this "O cruel" actually refers to the Dark Lady that this speaker is actually very passionate about. So why call her "O cruel"? Now this is actually an ironic mockery of the speaker's self-pity. This for the validation. And then for the second quatrain, there are rhetorical questions here. There are 3 rhetorical questions here. First of all, do I not think on thee when I forgot am of myself all tyrant for thy sake? And then who hated thee that I do call my friend? And on whom frownst thou that I do fawn upon? Now these rhetorical questions are actually there to show the speaker's different ways to defend and justify himself, and that's so that he is accepted by the Dark Lady. And then now let us look at the first quatrain, which talks about groaning and complaining. "Canst thou, O cruel, say I love thee not, when I against myself with thee partake? Do I not think on thee when I forgot am of myself all tyrant for thy sake?" Now the speaker groans and complains on how he is kinder to this woman than he is to himself, yet she still questions his affection for her. And then when we look at the second line, when I against myself with thee partake. Against myself. Now that actually shows the internal conflict that the speaker is having within himself, because one part of him defends the dark lady, while the other knows that loving her is futile because she might not love him back at all. And let us move on to the second quatrain, which talks about sacrificing for mistreatment. Now, who hateth thee that I do call my friend? On whom frownest thou that I do fawn upon? Nay, if thou larst on me, do I not spend revenge upon myself with present moan? Now, in this quatrain, the speaker confesses that he has sacrificed other friends for her sake, and he even scolds himself when she made him think that he is the reason, he is to blame for her mistreatment. So, and then, in this sonnet, there are 12 questions throughout the sonnets, which are actually designed to show the dark lady that he has sacrificed a lot for her, and of course he's willing to sacrifice a lot more just for her sake. So if she could just give him a chance and maybe to love him back. And that is it from me for quatrain 1 and 2.
Now we will move on to the third quatrain. What merit do I in myself respect, that is so proud thy service to despise, when all my best doth worship thy defect, commanded by the motion of thine eyes? In the third quatrain, the poet talks about low self-esteem and self-hate. He says that he cannot respect himself anymore because he has nothing good left in him, which can make him proud enough to call himself as the dark lady's servant. This is because he believes that all of his good qualities have been worshipping her bad qualities. He is willing to give all of him, or to sacrifice everything just for the dark lady. He is also greatly influenced by the dark lady just by looking through her eyes. The literary device that can be pointed out in this third quatrain is personification. For example, in the line, when all my best doth worship thy defect, the poet is giving the act of worship to the poet's good qualities. He is basically saying that all of him worship the dark lady's flaws. The same goes in the line, commanded by the motion of thine eyes. The poet is giving the act of command to the lady's eyes. He is basically saying that the lady's eyes can command the poet anything, and the poet will follow obediently everything that the ladies command. Moving on to the last couplet. But love, hate on, for now I know thy mind. Those that can see thou lovest, and I am blind. In the last couplet, the poet talks about seeing what is not there. The poet tells the lady to keep on hating him because he finally knows what the dark lady thinks of him. He believes that the lady rejects him because she only loves people who can see, but apparently the poet is blind. So what does it mean by the people who can see and the people who are blind? We will look at the literary device to find the answer. One literary device that can be pointed out in the last couplet is metaphor from the last line, and I am blind. The word blind here refers to the poet's unrealistic or unreasoning passion and love for the dark lady. So the dark lady only loves people who can see, which means that people who are not as devoted as the poet. And the dark lady doesn't like people who are blind, which means the people who have unrealistic and unreasoning passion and love towards her, just like how the poet did. So now we have come to the end of our presentation. Thank you everyone for listening, and have a nice day.